Hello friends, Heather here from the Sewing Loft, and it is time for block 4 of our Slightly Biased Quilt Along. Now normally I would show you the block, how to sew the block on my desktop, but this block is larger than our standard block. It finishes at 24 inches square. So what I've done is I have actually cleared a little bit of space off of my design wall, and I've got all of my pieces cut out and ready to go. And now it's just a matter of stitching it together. So before we get started, I want to share a quick tip. Now, I designed this block to be made with scraps and fat quarters, and honestly, I didn't have a scrap large enough to use for the base of my machine. So I'm not going to apologize about it, and I'm not going to hide it. I actually am going to be using a little bit of the selvage. You know, when it happens, I'm going to keep it in my seam allowance and no one's going to notice. I made sure that I cut off the very edge and I had just enough. So make sure when you're looking at your fabrics to check if you are using a piece that has a little bit of selvage on it, make sure you cut off the very edge because you don't want those fibers to be bound together. So let's get started and make our new sewing machine block. Okay, to get started sewing our block, I'm going to start working it in sections, and I'm going to start at the very top of the block and just work my way down. Now after each section, I'm going to make sure that I press everything, and this will give me a perfect finish when the block is complete. Okay, we are starting with our sewing machine screen, and we're going to add our squares to each corner and stitch from corner to corner. Now you can either draw a line on them, or if you have a machine like my Baby Lock Destiny, use your laser beam guide. Now this is really easy to do, and we've done it many times before, so honestly it should be a breeze. Stitch your squares in all 4 corners and then trim away the extra fabric. Then just give it a quick press at the pressing station to make sure that everything's nice and flat. Now, if anything here looks out of shape or a little rounded or even askew, make sure that you go back and trim this piece to size. We want to make sure that our foundation is correct before building outward. Then it's just a matter of continuing to add your pieces around. I'm going to continue to add all of my pieces and eventually stitch all of the groups together. So you can see that I have it all stitched up, and I am so excited. This sewing machine block is going to be the focal point of our slightly biased quilt.